Hi, teacher. Good afternoon. We are team number three, and today we are going to talk about the FIFA Gate corruption case, which was a scandal that shook the world of football.
Here's the structure of the presentation, outlining the key topics we will cover.
FIFA Gate was a global corruption scandal exposed in 2015 by the US Department of Justice. For decades, senior FIFA officials took bribes, rigid contracts, and abused of their power over elections and tournaments for private profit. This influenced World Cup hosting, broadcasting deals, and marketing rights. It deeply damaged the credibility of world football. All of this occurred in a multi-billion dollar organization where power was concentrated at the top and oversight was weak, conditions that allowed secret deals and systemic corruption to thrive. The core problem in the FIFA scandal wasn't just a few bad actors, it was the corruption became part of FIFA's culture. Senior officials built informal networks of influence operating with almost no oversight. Internal opacity allowed secret deals, regional federations traded loyalty for money, and misconduct went unpunished until outside authorities stepped in. In practice, this meant systematic bribery, investment, clientelism, and fraud at the very top of the world football. In this case, we can see four types of corruption. First, bribery, where officials sold votes and contracts. Fraud, using fake deals and secret accounts. Clientelism, trading favors for political support. And investment, where development money was stolen for personal use.
To understand why the FIFA scandal is considered corruption, it's important to compare what officials were actually entrusted to do with what they ended up doing. FIFA's mandate was to organize fair and transparent tournaments, allocate hosting rights based on merit, and distribute development funds to strengthen football worldwide. Instead, several top officials accepted bribes for hosting and marketing contracts, diverted development funds, and built clientelist networks for personal benefit. They used positions of public trust to obtain private money, power, and prestige. Several key actors play a role in the FIFA corruption network. At the top, former FIFA president Sepp Blatter oversaw an environment where corruption became systemic. Vice President Jeffrey Webb accepted minor bribes in exchange for hosting and media rights. Marketing firms paid officials to secure exclusive contracts, while major sponsors like Coca-Cola and Visa pressured FIFA to reform once the scandal surfaced. Finally, the US Department of Justice and Swiss authorities led investigations and prosecutions that exposed the scheme. This chart shows how bribes were distributed across FIFA's confederations. Most payments went to CONMEBOL and CONCACAF with 87% combined, while UEFA and others received much smaller shares. This demonstrates that corruption was highly concentrated in specific regions rather than evenly spread across FIFA. Corruption in FIFA emerged from a combination of structural, institutional, and individual factors. Structurally, FIFA held a global monopoly with no external oversight, which enabled opaque decision making. Institutionally, secret voting, weak audits, and a lack of whistleblower protection created an environment where misconduct could flourish. At the individual level, officials pursued personal enrichment, relied on loyalty networks, and normalized unethical behavior. These dynamics reflect several theories, including principal agent problems, systemic corruption, moral disengagement, and collective action theory.
After the FIFA corruption scandal, many fans lost trust in the organization and in tournaments hosted by countries with no football tradition. Legally, dozens of officials and partner banks faced charges and convictions for bribery and money laundering. The scandal also forced FIFA to reform its structure, strengthening audits, compliance rules, and removing top leaders from their positions.
This chart shows how public trust in FIFA dropped sharply after the 2015 scandal, reaching its lowest point that year. Although trust slowly recovered, it never returned to pre-scandal levels, showing the lasting damage to FIFA's credibility.
The corruption was exposed thanks to the investigations of Andrew Jennings, which spent years reporting on FIFA corruption via books and documentaries, also revealed to the public secret payments and internal conflicts. Also, citizen activism like FIFA Leaks and NGOs helped reveal the corruption by leaking contracts and emails, showing hidden details, and the campaigns from international transparency, fan groups, and NGOs. All these led to public pressure, media investigations, and official probes. To reduce corruption in FIFA, we proposed two main reforms: a digital transparency platform who would publish hosting votes and contracts in real time, track all financial flows, and use tamper-proof digital records like blockchain. Also, we proposed an independent global sports integrity council who would provide external oversight, run audits, and protect whistleblowers. Also, apply sanctions with federations who fail to comply.
Bueno, addressing corruption directly supports SDG 10 by promoting fair and open processes that give all countries an equal chance to benefit from football. It also strengthens SDG 16 because independent oversight and transparent governance reduce corruption and holds institutions like FIFA accountable. From a citizenship perspective, transparency allows fans to see when their money goes, building trust in sports institutions. And when whistleblower protections and open data are in place, people feel more empowered to speak up and participate as responsible, engaged global citizens. For global sports to maintain their integrity, transparency, and independent oversight are absolutely essential. That's why we highlight three main actions. First, demanding transparency from global sports organizations. Second, amplifying credible investigations and responsible journalism. And third, engaging with civil society groups that promote ethics and integrity in sports. These actions reminds us that accountability doesn't happen on its own. Citizens, fans, and institutions must actively participate to prevent corruption from taking root again. Güey, ¿por qué no? In conclusion, the FIFA corruption scandal demonstrates how unchecked authority, opaque governance, and financial interests turn an international sports body into a breeding ground for systemic corruption. The exposure of bribery and fraud in the World Cup bidding processes forced unprecedented legal actions and institutional reforms, including leadership removals and stronger compliance systems. However, restoring global trust in FIFA continues to depend on sustained transparency, ethical governance, and independent oversight to prevent future abuses of power.
These are our references, which you can consult for more information.